Inflation is a term used to describe the sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy. It means that, on average, prices are rising and the purchasing power of money is declining. Inflation can be measured using various price index, such as Consumer Price Index or Producer Price Index. This index tracks the changes in the price of a representative basket of goods and services over a specific period. When inflation occurs, the same amount of money will buy fewer goods and services compared to a previous period. This means that individuals and businesses need to spend more money to maintain the same standard of living or level of production.
Zimbabwe is a landlocked country in southern Africa, known for its dramatic landscape and diverse wildlife, much of it being parks, reserves, and safari areas. Based on World Meter elaboration of the latest United Nations data, the current population of Zimbabwe are over 50 million as of 25th June 2023. Zimbabwe's rank number is 74 in the list of country by population. It was colonized by the British South Africa Company of Cecil Rhodes in the 1890s and named Southern Rhodesia. It declared independence from Britain in 1955 but faced a liberation war from the black majority. It had 2 decades of economic stability followed by inflation and political turmoil. Zimbabwe was once a rising economy in Africa, with its mining and agricultural industry propelling the country forward. However, Zimbabweans now struggle with war, internal corruption, hyperinflation, and industrial mismanagement. A closer look at the country provides insight into the context of poverty in Zimbabwe. Based on the graph shown on the inflation rate for Zimbabwe, it shows an irregular trend from year 2013 until 2022 throughout these 10 years. The trend is irregular and fluctuates widely over the 10-year period. The inflation rate remained negative from 2014 to 2016, ranging from negative 0.21% to negative 1.56%. It became positive in 2017 at 0.91%. It was double-digit and figure in 2018 and 2019, reaching 10.61% and 255.29% respectively. It peaked in 2020 at a staggering 557.21% and it dropped sharply in 2021 to 98.55%.
In the mid-90s, about 4,500 white families owned most of the commercial farm, employing 350,000 black workers and often providing financial support for local infrastructure, hospitals and schools. Simultaneously, about 850,000 black farmers run small-scale commercial farms that were able to access credit from Zimbabwean banks and vitally contributed to the agricultural production. However, the prevalence of white farmers in agricultural production, commonly viewed as a heritage of colonialism, sparked negative sentiment and fueled calls by Mugabe and others to return the fertile stolen lands to black Zimbabweans. Because of this issue, foreign investors fled, fearing their assets could be seized next. By 2001, foreign direct investment in Zimbabwe fell to zero, whilst the World Bank risk premium on foreign investment rose from 4% to 20%. Secondly, the non-enforcement of land titles removed a major source of collateral for bank loans. As a result, lending to farmers dried up, and investment in agriculture plummeted. Thirdly, those farmers who were evicted found themselves unable to pay back their loan. This, combined with the loss of income from farm loans, led to dozens of banks collapsing, with massive negative repercussions for Zimbabwean businesses. Fourthly, the land redistribution, although supposedly meant to benefit the poorer Zimbabweans, actually largely benefit the ruling elites who cherry-picked the most fertile farmlands. With the commercial farmers deserting Zimbabwe, crop yields collapsed and famine ensued. Fifth, land value collapsed due to removal of property rights and with it much of Zimbabwe wealth. This was exacerbated in 2001 when the government defaulted on the servicing of its loan from the International Monetary Fund. In response, the IMF refused to make any concessions such as refinancing or loan forgiveness. Because of the default of the IMF loan, Zimbabwe creditworthiness was effectively run, making it impossible to get loans elsewhere. As a result, the Zimbabwe government started to issue its own national currency and use the money to buy US dollar on the foreign exchange market. By 2003, the value of the Zimbabwe dollar has deteriorated to such an extent that it was costing the government more to issue the notes and coins than they were worth at face value. In light of this, the government began issuing time-limited bearer checks in very high denomination. By 2005, economic conditions had grown particularly bad. More than 18% of the Zimbabwean population was officially unemployed.
The first impact that causes by the inflation is social welfare will decrease. As can be seen, hunger is rampant in Zimbabwe due to hyperinflation. According to BBC News, more than 60% of the country's 40 million people are considered food insecure, the report concludes. Hyperinflation, poverty, national disaster, and economic sanction were identified as causes. Apart from that, there is also a healthcare crisis in Zimbabwe. Many doctors in Zimbabwe have been on strike for the past 3 months in protest at their poor salaries and deteriorating condition of service. The impact that causes by the inflation is deficit trade. A trade deficit occurs when a country does not produce everything it needs and borrow from foreign states to pay for the imports. That's called the current account deficit. The crisis resulted in hugely controversial election which the opposition surely won. As the economy, the Zimbabwean dollar was discarded, and people were given the option of using a basket of foreign currencies. The US dollar chief among them. The problem was then how to source US dollar, and this was done largely by borrowing. The government's inability to pay for electricity import has meant power outage of up to 18 hours each day. The impact that causes by the inflation is higher interest rate. Finance Minister Matt Holly and Cube said over the weekend that Zimbabwe will maintain interest rate at 200%, which is the second highest interest rate in the world for the next 3 months. The Zimbabwe dollar local unit of exchange, which has been highly uneasy, has now trapped some stability on the parallel exchange rate market. It has been trading at around $1 to 700 Zimbabwean dollar in the past few weeks. Zimbabwe difficulties has been worsened by high indebtedness, which is deterring it from securing fresh funding for economic and developmental programs.
As you all know, Zimbabwe has faced significant challenges in terms of social welfare in the past. To address a decrease in social welfare in Zimbabwe, the following solutions should be considered. Enhancing food security. Strengthen the agricultural sector, which is a critical component of Zimbabwe's economy, through investment in infrastructure, irrigation system, and modern technique. Enhancing food security also can help reduce poverty and improve social welfare. Number 2, healthcare system improvement. Enhance the healthcare system by investing in infrastructure, healthcare facilities, and medical equipment. Provide affordable and accessible healthcare service, particularly in rural areas. Besides that, to address a trade deficit in Zimbabwe, where the value of import exceeds the value of export, the following solution could be considered. Promote export-oriented industry. Identify sectors with high export potential and provide support to develop and enhance their competitiveness. This may involve offering incentives such as tax breaks, export subsidies, and access to finance and technical assistance to encourage investment and innovation in this industry. Number 2, diversity exports markets. Reduce reliance on a limited number of export destinations by expanding into new markets. This can involve promoting Zimbabwean products in emerging economies and strengthening trade relations with regional partners through trade agreements and diplomatic efforts. The conclusion is inflation can be caused by various factors, including an increase in money supply, rising production costs, changes in demand and supply dynamics, government policies, and external shocks. Inflation also can have both positive and negative effects. In moderate levels, it can stimulate economic growth by encouraging spending and investment. However, high or unstable inflation can create economic instability and reduce purchasing power. Inflation commonly measured using various indexes such as Consumer Price Index or Producer Price Index. Lastly, Zimbabwean government can be used all the solutions given to settle the issue that related.